So what's happening in Bailey v. Bailey?
Well, first, Bailey is recent. Bailey
Mm.
decision came down in March of 2026. And if you just look at the business valuation piece of the appeal, it looks like it's not monetarily worth the cost of the appeal, but that's only half of the case. And that's how my work goes. If I'm looking for one particular issue, I don't use the rest of the case. We're not using the rest of the case. We're focused on the business issues. And the errors were all done by the court. Now, to be fair to the court, it looks like the court relied on the wife's submissions. So by extension, the wife's submissions that the court adopted to value this small, closely held business, which was a one-man LLC operation, that's the source of the error. But we have basically one paragraph that generated over 7 errors on appeal, any one of which would have reversed this.
Yeah. And kind of walk us through what you think is maybe the biggest issue, because in this situation, we have some case precedent, and you and I were already kind of talking about this, which is a big deal in divorce. Like, if you're going to operate and be a financial expert, you kind of need to know, and again, a financial expert could operate in any county, in any state, right? But one of the things in divorce is it's all very state specific. So there's nuanced cases in each state that you kind of have to be aware of, just because they still bleed into these cases. And that was the situation in this case, is that there was some case precedent set. But maybe we should just go into some of the issues, or how you want to kind of tee us off for this.
So here's what's going on in North Carolina. This is a North Carolina intermediate appellate decision, and a case that sets the standard is probably in existence in all other states. This particular Bailey decision would not be applicable. No one in a different state should cite this. But what you need to do is look for the standard for your state, whether you're the lawyer applying the business valuation or the business valuator, because in North Carolina, the standard is from 1985. It's the Poore case, Poore. That's a North Carolina Supreme Court case, and it set a 4-factor standard. And you and I were discussing, if you just read those 4 factors as a business valuator, it isn't a business valuation. It doesn't look anything like how you would operate. But what the lawyers need from the business valuator is the correct methodology and actual methodology, relying on evidence, not ignoring negative evidence, and then the lawyer fits it into the Poore factor. So what went wrong in Bailey is one paragraph, and I want to read the actual trial court's valuation paragraph of the business. And I want everyone to think, well, what's wrong with it, before we jump into what the appellate court held was wrong with it. So here's what the trial court wrote. It's all based on the wife's lawyer's submissions. The business is marital property, and it had a date of separation value of $32,000. This is from Wife's Exhibit 27, and utilizing the amounts listed in the tax returns for income profit over a 2-year span prior to the date of separation, and also considering the bank statements found in Wife's Exhibit 34. That's it. That's the paragraph that created 7 errors. So what are the errors? The first place to look, and the first place the appellate court goes, is the Poore decision. This is the Bailey 2026 appellate decision, relying on Poore and the Poore factors from 1985. And the 4 Poore factors are: you have to look at fixed assets. You have to look at other assets, including work in progress. You have to look at goodwill, and you have to look at liability. Now, I just read that quickly. Listeners, you don't have the benefit of actually studying that paragraph, but that paragraph is missing most of what Poore says must exist. And there are just a number of other things wrong with it. But for example, the appellate court points out there's no determination of goodwill. There's no evaluation of work in progress. And those would be enough to reverse this, just that. So that's just the beginning of what was wrong with this one paragraph. But for a business valuation at $32,000, factually, the business started in the end of 2019 and had just under $6,000 in revenue. In 2020, it had $68,000 in revenue, and the trial court averaged those two. Now, Melissa, what's wrong with that mathematical picture pretty much anywhere, not just North Carolina?
Well, and I think that this is a big deal because for the most part, judges will not do a straight at like a straight average is the kiss of death. So you'll usually see them like whatever the average is, they'll go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending upon the expert that they sort of prefer. But that, in my mind, prevents them from having like an appealable issue. So the straight average is usually like a big no-no in the courts,